When Prince Harry took the stage, the world expected a royal reception. Instead, the Dorian TV Awards called him simply Mr. Harry Windsor. No Duke, no Prince, just Harry. Today we're unpacking how one awards show publicly snubbed Prince Harry's royal status, igniting fresh tensions between him, the monarchy, and Hollywood elites. But that's just the start. You'll also hear what insiders claim Harry did backstage that has stunned even his closest allies. Do you think public figures like Harry should still cling to royal titles after stepping down? Or should they earn new ones in the real world? Drop your verdict in the comments. So, it wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a formality. When the Dorian TV Awards introduced Prince Harry as simply Mr. Harry Windsor, it sent a shockwave across royal and celebrity circles alike. This wasn't just a matter of cutting corners. It was a deliberate decision to erase his royal identity on a very public stage. For a man who once stood as the pride of a monarchy, the message couldn't have been louder. Hollywood no longer plays by the palace's rules. And what's more, the audience barely flinched. The royal mystique that once commanded respect now invited polite indifference. The crown doesn't follow you, especially not in LA. For Harry, this wasn't just about a missing title. It was about a missing identity. Backstage, things weren't nearly as calm. According to insiders, Harry was fuming. The man who served in combat zones and walked behind his mother's coffin reportedly stewed over a line of text on a teleprompter. Meghan, too, was seen in what one crew member called a tight huddle with their publicist, clearly displeased. That missing Duke of Sussex wasn't just symbolic. It was strategic. Their brand, their deals, their very image depends on that royal allure. Strip that, and what's left? A pair of celebrities trying to hold on to past prestige while navigating a world that's quickly moving on. Titles hold value, but only if others still believe in them. For the Sussexes, the snub felt less like a clerical error and more like a calculated jab. So what are the actual rules? Can Harry still be called Prince or Duke? Technically, yes. Legally, Harry retains the Duke of Sussex title and Prince by birthright. But ever since stepping down as a working royal in 2020, it's been an awkward dance. The Queen allowed them to keep the titles, but not use them officially. In other words, they can hold them, but not flaunt them. The Dorian Awards decision seems to align with this new global attitude. Respect the past, but don't dwell in it. Legal title is not equal to public endorsement. If institutions like award shows stop recognizing royal labels, Harry's noble identity may slowly dissolve without a single law being broken. There's a growing gap between royal tradition and modern celebrity culture, and Harry and Meghan sit uncomfortably in the middle. Hollywood has always loved royalty, but not when it demands reverence without relevance. Meghan, an actress herself, understood that attention here must be earned, not inherited. And yet, their brand still leans heavily on their former titles. The Dorian snub wasn't just an oversight. It was a reflection of shifting power dynamics. Fame in Hollywood is rented, not inherited. If the industry begins treating Harry like any other public figure, their entire image strategy might be due for a reboot. From the start, Meghan's plan was bold: merge the glamour of royalty with the reach of Hollywood. Netflix, Spotify, book deals, brand partnerships, it was all built on the allure of being not just famous, but royal. But the Dorian incident exposed the fragility of that formula. When one of Hollywood's most inclusive and progressive award shows refuses to acknowledge your title, it's more than a snub. It's a signal. That hybrid identity, half royal, half celebrity, may be wearing thin. When the branding breaks, the empire cracks. If Meghan can't leverage Duchess energy, she may need to reinvent her approach entirely. Leaked details from production crew paint a tense picture. Allegedly, Harry requested revisions to the teleprompter after seeing Mr. Windsor instead of Duke. Producers declined. One insider claimed they were firm. This was about equality, not hierarchy. Cameras may have caught Harry smiling, but offstage, multiple sources report a stiff posture, clenched jaw, and a very quiet ride home. The couple's team later downplayed everything, but the tone backstage was undeniable. Image is curated, emotion isn't. If the Sussexes can't control their presentation, their brand may start slipping through their fingers. This moment peeled back a deeper identity crisis. Who exactly is Harry without the weight of the monarchy behind him? Stripped of the title, he's no longer the prince who challenged tradition. He's just a man with a complicated past and a famous wife. The Dorian moment felt like more than just a name omission. It was a mirror held up to his post-royal reality. When the title vanishes, so does the illusion. Harry must now decide if he wants to keep chasing royal recognition or forge a new identity from scratch. Want more inside scoops like this one? Tap that subscribe button and stay ahead of the royal curve. Because what's happening behind palace gates is nothing like you imagined. Though Buckingham Palace didn't address the snub publicly, royal watchers believe a subtweet did the job. Hours after the Dorian Awards aired, a post from a senior royal praised those who serve humbly without title or applause. No names, no tags. But to insiders, the target was clear. The royal family has mastered the art of quiet retaliation, choosing sharp timing over sharp words. Silence speaks louder when it's strategic. By refusing to defend Harry, the firm may be signaling that they've washed their hands of his Hollywood ambitions. Within hours of the broadcast, UK tabloids were in a feeding frenzy. Headlines like "Prince No More" and "Duke Demoted in Hollywood" painted the moment as a public humiliation. One columnist wrote, "If he's just Harry now, maybe it's time he starts acting like it." These papers have long capitalized on Sussex drama, but this time, their mockery hit differently. It wasn't just scandal, it was symbolic defeat. A snub in LA became a front-page hit in London. Harry's struggle to be taken seriously across both continents may be spiraling faster than he realizes. The Sussexes' response was swift and slick. Within hours, press statements were crafted to frame the event as refreshingly informal and a reflection of their desire to be seen as equals. But leaks from insiders painted a very different picture. Panic, phone calls, emergency strategy meetings. Behind the polished messaging was a couple scrambling to contain a narrative slipping out of their control. Spin control can't erase a bruised ego. Even the best PR team can't reverse what the public saw and felt live. For years, Harry and Meghan were media darlings in America, symbols of rebellion, resilience, and reinvention. But recent polls show a shift. Favorability has dipped, especially among younger audiences, who now view them as overexposed and underwhelming. The Dorian Awards didn't help. It highlighted a growing discomfort with their royal branding. Americans love authenticity, and when your identity hinges on a title you walked away from, the cracks start showing. Respect fades fast when the message feels mixed. The Sussexes may need to decide, are they royalty or are they relatable? There's a slow-burning battle happening behind the scenes, not for fame, but for relevance. In a media landscape that moves fast, yesterday's royals can become tomorrow's punchlines. Harry and Meghan are now competing not with the Windsors, but with streaming stars, activist influencers, and pop culture icons who don't need crowns to command attention. And that's a hard fight to win with a fading title. You can't stream royalty, but you can scroll past it. Unless the Sussexes evolve fast, they risk becoming relics in a world that rewards reinvention. Even their nonprofit isn't immune. Following the Dorian fallout, Arkowell reportedly saw a noticeable dip in online engagement and donor interest. It's subtle, but telling. Supporters who once rallied behind the couple's humanitarian vision are now questioning whether their mission is about impact or image. When your public credibility takes a hit, even your charitable work suffers collateral damage. Reputation fuels trust, and trust funds causes. If Arkowell becomes tangled in identity politics, its effectiveness may dwindle alongside its donations. Remember when Oprah, Ellen, and Tyler Perry were vocal champions of the Sussexes? That chorus has gone quiet. None of their celebrity allies have commented on the Dorian snub, not even a tweet. In Hollywood, silence isn't neutral, it's strategic. Backing a brand in freefall is risky, and the A-list is watching carefully. If Harry and Meghan can't maintain their influence, they may find their inner circle shrinking fast. Silence in Hollywood often means someone just got dropped. Losing the room isn't loud, it's quiet, and it's cold. The irony. Harry was being honored for authenticity in documentary storytelling. But how authentic can one appear when the very name on the screen is at odds with the identity they project? The Dorian Awards subtly pulled back the curtain, forcing viewers to reconcile the man on stage with the myth he's tried to maintain. Some clapped, others cringed. Everyone noticed. Authenticity isn't awarded, it's earned. And if your image depends on a title you've left behind, the audience won't buy it for long. While Harry was silently stewing backstage, his brother Prince William was making headlines for a far more polished reason. A new mental health initiative, lauded across the UK and praised by world leaders. The contrast was stark. One prince waded through public awkwardness. The other stood tall on global issues. For royal watchers, it was another reminder of how different their paths have become and how far apart their reputations now sit. One brother builds legacy, the other battles for legitimacy, and the public is starting to notice which one commands the stage now. King Charles has avoided direct confrontation with Harry, but this public embarrassment may test his patience. Behind closed doors, palace advisors have reportedly urged him to clarify the couple's standing once and for all. Not through statements, but through action. That could mean quietly discouraging future use of royal titles, or even formal steps to legally sever the Sussexes from their official designations. The crown doesn't forget disrespect. It waits for the right moment. And if Charles does act, it'll be swift, silent, and surgically precise. According to insiders, discussions around Harry and Meghan's titles aren't just gossip. They're part of active conversations in royal legal circles. One senior aide allegedly called the situation untenable. If they keep leveraging royal titles while distancing themselves from royal duties, a formal revocation may become unavoidable. The Dorian Awards didn't just omit a title, they ignited a countdown. This wasn't the climax, it was the first crack. And when royal institutions move, they do it with finality, not flair. The Dorian Awards didn't just mislabel Prince Harry, they exposed a deeper truth. Titles can't carry weight forever, especially when the world stops believing in them. Hollywood, the monarchy, and even the public are slowly rewriting Harry's identity, and he's no longer holding the pen. As the royal brand begins to fracture under modern pressure, The question isn't whether he'll reclaim his crown. It's whether he'll still matter without it. Stick around, because this unraveling is far from over.